This episode is brought to you by Camilla Najat with Exit Realty Metro.
Camilla Najat is an experienced real estate agent who prides herself in finding the perfect home for her clients. Camilla can help you with a comparative market analysis to help determine the value of your home if you're planning on selling, or help you determine the going rate for the neighborhood you're moving into. She can also work with you at your pace.
You can reach Camilla by calling 902-880-8429 or email camilla@exitmetro.ca.
Also, you can find her on Facebook at Camilla Najat, Exit Realty Metro. This is Matt Conrad.
And this is Mike Tobin.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint.
All right, cheers.
Cheers, guys.
Welcome to the Afternoon Pint.
Hey.
I'm Mike Tobin.
I am Matt Conrad, and today we have...
Ian Robinson, Halifax Mooseheads public address announcer.
Wow. There you go. Yeah.
That sounded like a radio voice.
Hey, you wanted me to talk in my radio voice, didn't you?
That's
you want me to talk like
this.
this?
That works too. So Ian, thank you very much for coming on here. I know we've kind of known each other for a few years now. I think just by circumstance, actually.
You were my insurance guy.
I was your insurance guy at one point. Yeah, at one point. So that's kind of how we kind of met each other.
Yeah.
And then sure enough, it's, you're Ian.
Yeah, here I am, live and in color, right?
You're the guy who So we can go through a lot of these things here. I mean, we can talk a little bit at the radio and stuff, but what people are going to see, obviously, when they see the pictures that we put on Facebook, is you're a Mooseheads guy.
Yeah, the voice of the Mooseheads has been doing this since 1997 and coming up for 1,100 games next month. But who's counting, right?
So 1997. So that's like just 2 years after they started, eh?
Yeah, I came on, I think, the team started in 1994, and I came on in 1997. So technically, I think it was the fourth season.
Fourth season, okay.
Yeah, and, just loving every minute of it, and started originally as the promo DJ and then promo announcer.
Yeah.
And then the story how I found out about the job, I was at Sobeys Clayton Park. My wife Roxanne sent me to get some groceries, and I ran into Mark Church, a buddy of mine there. And he was an usher at the Scotiabank Centre, and formerly Metro Centre. And he said the Mooseheads are looking for a promo announcer / PA guy. And called Matt McKnight at the time. There was no texting or emailing really back then in 1997. Yeah. So, I met with him June 24th, 1997, and started on September 20th later that year for the first game that season, and been there ever since.
And honestly, 90s, I mean, obviously they won in 2013, which was great and everything, but that 90s Mooseheads was awesome.
Yeah, it was quite a run. I came in just after, the Jaguar big run there that they had in the spring of 97. So, but I was there for, the Tangays and as well,
Jody Shelley.
Yeah, exactly. And and some of the other guys like Robbie Sutherland going down the line, Jason King. So getting to see these guys throughout the years play has just been the icing on the cake. And, to get to know some of the guys as well. I get, familiar with the local guys because, we have that bond with Nova Scotia. But, just to be able to announce Nathan's jersey retirement there back in September, huge honor and just so much fun.
Well, yeah, you've seen a lot of great talent come through it, and it's, I mean, honestly, how lucky can you be? I mean, obviously it's through hard work. You earned the job, but you get to watch hockey for a job,
for a gig, right?
Yeah, you get paid to watch hockey, announce hockey. You just surrounded. And you're a hockey family, it seems, because your son's reffing, or at least one of your sons are reffing.
Yeah, both of them reffed growing up. Yeah, both Drake and Trent. They
but Drake's
played
in the queue now reffing. Is he not?
He's not quite in the queue. Okay. He was called up to the queue a few years ago.
That's what it was. Okay,
but he did do an exhibition game with me back in August 18th, 2019. Yeah. That was a pretty cool moment. And he was interviewed about his referee career. And somebody asked him, what's the biggest highlight of your career? And he goes, I think it was when my dad, who's a Halifax Mooseheads announcer, introduced me at a preseason game when he was tying his skates. So, he got us to work together as, a father-son. I think we're the only father-son public address announcers / referee
that's cool.
in the queue to do a game. So hopefully someday he'll be up there and it's just there's a log jam of hiring officials in the queue, and he's in the caught up in the numbers game where nobody's really retiring, but he is above the queue. He's doing AUS, so He was in Acadia the other night doing the game down there, and so he does pretty much every league. He's done with the high schools pretty much and the minor hockey, but so seeing him progress with his career is pretty cool. And Trent as well. He did some refereeing and played, and they were both Q League off-ice officials. So they looked after. They were calling themselves the official Q League door openers at the games there, and they were goal judges back when we had goal judges. So yeah, it was fun to have the boys there at the rink with me.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, he's also a really good, solid Leafs fan too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Yeah. Got the watch on.
There you go. Yeah,
Leafs watch on, and the rings. So what's up with these rings?
Yeah.
Okay. Well, I'm glad you asked there, Mike. Okay, we'll start with the big one. This was the championship ring that I got in 2013.
Okay.
And so if you look at it, it has you can touch it.
You're scared a little bit.
Oh my God, it's heavy. Look at that.
Yeah. So it's on one side it's got the Q League stats, and on the other side it's got the Memorial Cup stats on it, and then it's got my name on it. So it's not worth a darn, right?
That's right.
And then it's got the 19 diamonds on the top for the 19 seasons that it. There you go, Matt.
That's what
for the 19 seasons it took us to win the Q League and the Memorial Cup. So that's the big one. This is the conversation piece. This has been when I was at Q104. Any rock star that came through the radio station wore this. So anybody from Ray McGuire of Trooper to Randy Backman of BTO, Miles Goodwin, all have had this ring on. Then when I switched to country at Hot Country 103.5, Dean Brody, Rack Laws, George Canyon, Jess Moskalook, everybody has worn this ring.
That's a dirty ring.
I know, it's been around. But
so do you wear the ring all the time?
Every game.
Every game.
Not every
day, all the time, whenever. Okay, yeah.
Every game. Yeah. One time I went to the rink and I forgot it. I felt naked when I was announcing the game.
Weird.
So I had to call my wife. I was like, did I forget the ring at home? So I keep it in the safety deposit box at home. And this is the second ring that I got. And this is for all of the staff who have been there for 20 years.
Oh, wow. Okay.
So
nice.
The funny story behind this one was I was supposed to get it just before COVID happened. So there were several of us that were with the staff for a long time, including Ron Beard, the timekeeper, Tammy Hill, who's been with the Kids Club for over 20 years. So Brian Urquhart sent me a message, who is the team president, and he said, hey, Ian, we got something for you here. This was Christmas Eve. Kind of meet you in the parking lot of the radio station. And I thought it was like a little swag or something for Christmas from the team, or a bottle of wine or something, whatever.
Right.
And then he said, just like to give you this for your dedication and commitment to the team for the 20 plus years. And I think at the time I was in 23 years deep then. And Brian said the original plan was to honor all of our staff that had 20 years in. And then COVID happened. We're supposed to do an on-ice presentation and so on. So anyway, to get that as a Christmas Eve present on December 24th, 2020.
Wow.
I'll never forget that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's very cool.
Pretty cool.
So how have you noticed, how's been the transition of ownership and all that stuff? Has it been nice and smooth? Everyone's going kind of as per and everything like that? Or
I haven't noticed really a thing.
No.
It's so smooth. And you may have seen Peter and Sam in the stands with the fans, and they're just as big of fans as we are cheering on the team, right?
That's great.
And they're they're coming out and high-fiving the players at the warm-up, and so it's been seamless. And Bobby, of course, fellow Cape Breton like myself, been there for 20 years, and Bobby wouldn't just sell the team to anybody.
Yeah.
So he's sold it to good hands, and
they're coming to games here and everything. But are they because they're based in Detroit? Are they not? Or Michigan or something like that?
Out of Michigan.
Yeah. So they're so are they flying back and forth? Are they here for a lot of the season, or they
have a private jet.
Oh, there you go.
There you go.
You may have seen they flew down and got Nathan. When they were bringing Nathan back for the retirement jersey. So I think that's how they get around. And it's just fun to see the boys. And if I'm talking to them before the game, we always try to do our predictions and, who's going to get the hat trick. And, Peter will say, I think it's Vitti going to get the hat trick, Marcus Vidicek today. So, they're cool guys. And they've done a lot for the community, what they've done, for the hockey players here where I live in the Tassa area in Hubli. And the fires didn't affect effect where I live, but out in Tantallon area and Hammonds Plains, when they basically paid for all new gear for the kids who lost everything in all those levels, and as well paid for the registration for the entire year. Wasn't a dry eye in the place when that happened.
Yeah,
right?
seriously.
So they're in it for the community. It's the community's team, and they're in it for the long haul.
Well, if they end up listening to this, thank you for doing all that for the community. But I'll also, on a personal note, for Ian's 30th anniversary, I'm gonna petition that he gets a little trip on the private jet.
We'll go to Cape Breton, bye.
Yeah, there you go. Yeah. A day trip to Cape Breton on the private jet.
Yeah, up to Dundee. Good idea. We got to find a landing strip in Dundee. Yeah.
Exactly. Yeah. So the hockey obviously very much based, and we can I guess lean right into the book at this point. I mean, I want to talk about your radio career too, but we're talking about hockey.
Let's do the book last, only because Norm Macdonald. You like Norm Macdonald?
Oh, yeah.
One of my favorite comedians of all time. And at the end of his podcast for years, he always read a few jokes. I'd love for us to end on a few jokes tonight.
Oh, okay. Let's do that then.
So we'll do the
that's
book
fine.
last. But let's talk about your radio
Yeah,
career
okay,
for
let's
a
do it.
bit.
So, you're a Cape Bretoner. You started your career. What's up with us having people who started their radio career in Cape Breton on this podcast?
Oh, my
like,
gosh,
seriously.
Yeah. Did you hear the Sean Roswald one we did yet? Or
No, I haven't heard. I got to
check it
listen to
out.
that one.
Yeah. So he had a.
He also did it.
Yeah, he had an international radio career. He's been on the show.
Wow.
Really interesting one, actually. We got clips of him from back, I think, when he was
a
16
kid?
years old. It was
Yeah.
like 1965, 66.
Whoa.
Learning on the radio for the first time with his dad.
Wow.
Right up until, one of his last jobs was Sirius Satellite
He
Radio.
worked in the Valley, I believe, at one point in time. If I'm
He
correct.
did. Yeah, that's right. Yeah,
Wow.
he's been all over the place.
Yeah, man. Yeah. Us radio guys are in it for the love of it,
And
right?
Jordy Morgan would have been on now. So
Jordy
was on here, yeah.
Yeah, we worked at Q together and CJC Agency 100 together.
Yeah. So you got your start in Cape Breton, and I just saw the other day that you actually reconnected with someone who got your start.
Yeah, Dave Reynolds, of Hockey Night in Canada fame. So if you're of a certain vintage of my age, watching Hockey Night in Canada, Dave was like the Ron McLean of the 70s. And I always, watched Hockey Night in Canada as a kid growing up, and it was always cool to see this guy on there. It's like my mother would say, he's from Cape Breton, he's from Sydney. So... Anyway, Dave ended up buying some property and building a house in Big Brador, where I'm from in Cape Breton. And he ended up going to the same church as my parents and I went back in the day. And so I ended up getting to know Dave.
Yeah.
And he dropped by the service station where I was pumping gas at the time in high school. And I said, I'm interested in radio. Love to get into it. Can I drop a tape off at your house someday? He's like, sure. So anyway, made up a demo tape in high school. I was taking a radio course in the time in Sydney Mines at CMHS. I think I got the colors right. Yeah, CMHS. It's been 40-some years in 1981. So dropped off the tape, and he hired me for a gig in high school, and here we are.
Wow. Okay.
Wow.
It's like, that's one of the things I was going to ask. So obviously you were interested in radio kind of right away.
Yeah, ever since I was a kid. Yeah, and it's just the magic of it, and I always wondered how it worked, and getting to work with the idols that I grew up with at CJCB and CKPE in Sydney was quite an honor, and became lifelong friends with them. And I remember listening as early as 7 years old, and Santa Claus reading my letter on the air, and my father was like, "Let's go get the Christmas tree." Nope, not getting out of the car until I hear Santa read my letter on CJCB. And
that was like romper room.
Yeah,
for your name to be said.
Yeah, exactly right. And then I did say it was like little Ian Robinson and Big Brador looking for a hang on Harvey. Said, That's
awesome.
So I was about 7 years old. So that wasn't yesterday. I think it was 1973. So 50 years ago. Yeah, I'm 57. There, look, I have Cape Breton math's working.
Whereabouts in Cape Breton? Where are you from?
Big Brador.
Big Brador. Okay.
Just out from the Lickachick.
Nice. Right on.
Good chicken. What? The Lickachick, yeah.
Great chicken.
Oh, yeah, man.
Oh, yeah. You know what? It was funny. I saw something really funny just because you said lick a chicken because they have lick a treat and all that stuff. And someone made a comment that someone should open up, like the NSLC should actually open up a store in that little corner there and call it the Lick a Store.
Right across from the Tim Hortons.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, where Jesus was spotted so many years
That's
ago.
right.
Yeah.
That's right, on the wall.
Oh yeah,
That's right. I forgot about that. That just like, brought me back.
was it water stain or what was it?
It was a light
No,
bulb.
it was Jesus.
Yeah.
Oh, okay.
And somebody had a Halloween costume for that this year. I saw it on Facebook or Instagram or somewhere. And at the Anfield Motel or Inn that's a few minutes away, back in the day, whatever it was, 30 years ago, you'd call them and they say, yeah, where are you located anyway? Oh, we're 5 minutes from the Newfoundland Ferry and we're 2 minutes from Jesus.
That's good.
At the Tim Hortons.
So, okay, so as you bounced around a little bit, like as most radio guys do. You kind of like, there's, radio kicked over and all that stuff and everything. So now you're with country, though.
Yeah, Hot Country 103.5. I do the midday network show there. So I'm out of Halifax, but I'm also heard in Bridgewater, Nova Scotia, St. John, New Brunswick on Country 94, and Country 105 in Thunder Bay, Ontario, along with Country 100.7 in Bridgewater that I previously mentioned. But yeah, so it's fun. It's neat to be heard in New Brunswick, where my wife's from, and my relatives can never get rid of me now, right? So you're there and everywhere.
So it was radio like. Radio obviously something you always wanted to do, but the radio with the music and all that stuff, or was like, did you like, was there other type of broadcasting that interested you at all?
Oh, it's always being the on-air guy, the DJ. Yeah. We don't really like being called DJs. We like being called announcers, but hosts is another word that they use these days. But yeah, it's always been wanting to be on the radio and talking between the songs and be the announcer. I've done pretty much every format there is, from rock, country, pop to I did some sports briefly at News 95.7 here in Halifax.
Yeah.
And, so it's been a heck of a ride, and I owe everything to radio. Even this thing here, the book came from the bad dad joke that I did on the air with Dana Thompson and Kelly Rickard. And my wife, I met her at CJCH
so you were
C100.
So the book, so it kind of started from you telling jokes on air,
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah, and the next thing you know, we got this book in hand. But yeah, Roxanne and I met, as I say, at CJCH C100 ATV ASN, and she was a producer back then. Yeah. And now she runs Christmas Daddies, and shameless plug, you can bid on the book on the Christmas Daddies telethon.
Absolutely, yeah. Nice. So she's run Christmas Daddies. Wow. Okay.
Yeah, she's been there. This is her 25th year of being executive director. She started when she was 5. And
nice.
Yeah, but so it's a pretty cool part to be a part of that tradition here in the Maritimes.
Again, it's one of those things where I'm thinking, when we were talking with you get to watch hockey, watch any type of sport for a living is obviously really awesome to get paid to do. Yeah. But then she now gets to do something that's hugely impactful.
Yeah.
Like, how can you feel bad in the run of a day when you're paid to just do the great things that Christmas Daddies does?
Yeah, it's a huge job. She's putting in a lot of hours these days. Yeah, so I think I'll get her back once the telethon is over, but haven't seen much of her lately. But, 25 years to say we're proud of her is an understatement.
Seriously.
But millions of dollars raised over the years for the kids and families at Christmas time. And she and Steve Murphy are best buddies there. So Steve's coming back. That's the first question she always gets is Steve Murphy coming back to be on the show? Oh. So Steve's coming back, and you may have seen some of their stuff online. Steve's Stocking Stuffers, and Roxanne and Steve do a little yak about Christmas Daddies over the years, and a lot of history there with the 60th coming up.
Yeah, Steve's a legend, obviously. Yeah, we had Dancy on here a couple weeks ago and everything. So yeah, we put our plea out there. We're gonna get Steve on here.
We'll have Steve on season 2.
Yeah, for sure. We'll get him on here. Yeah.
Yep.
So so you must have a wide range of taste of music then, if you're kind of bouncing around to different types, or
what's your jam? What do you
what's your jam?
Like?
Yeah. Well, it's funny. My son Drake, he has this mix on his Spotify. It's called "Dad Cracks a Warm One," and everybody chuckles. But it's basically 70s rock, 80s rock.
Nice.
70s is what I grew up listening to, but I also grew up listening to country. That was the beauty of CJCB, because there was block programming. So in the morning, you get Dionne Warwick and Johnny Mathis and Kenny Rogers. Then in the afternoon, they went country. So you got Jim Reeves, the Oak Ridge Boys, and Alabama, and then you went to the rock show in the evening. and it was pure rock. So, yeah, I've got a wide, taste for music. But, when I go home and throw something on, Spotify is a mixed playlist of pretty much everything. So you will find the Hank Williams, and you'll find the Johnny Cashes on there, but you'll also get Boston, Meatloaf, and the Doobie Brothers, and the Eagles, and Fleetwood Mac, my favorite group.
Awesome. Fleetwood Mac.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one.
Yeah, Eagles and Fleetwood Mac. It's a toss-up, right? I had both those albums.
Yeah, the Eagles would be up there for me. They're pretty up there.
Yeah.
I mean, their harmonizing is pretty awesome, but also Fleetwood Mac harmonizing and stuff is pretty top notch.
Steely Dan guy? You like Steely Dan?
Oh,
Still in Doobie Brothers.
Oh, Doobies, they were just here.
Yeah, they were just here. Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, and I hope Santa brings me some Styx tickets for Christmas.
I see that they're coming here.
Yeah, Larry Gowan. I saw Dennis DeYoung on his solo show at the Cohen a few years ago, and that was pretty awesome. But, again, country shows, been to Shania Twain back in the summer. That was a really cool experience there. And,
cool.
Yeah,
and, all the classics that came through here in Halifax. Actually, my first concert in Halifax was the Oak Ridge Boys back in 1986 when I came up from Sydney to see a show. And then Alan Jackson, saw him 2 or 3 times here. And, so it's just, it's music, man. And you get to talk in between the tunes on the radio. And it's, you never work a day in your life. You do something that you love, right?
Yeah. And it seems like you have a lot of fun doing it, and it seems like you really love it. And because you also just celebrated with Q104, because they just had their 40th anniversary or something like that, right?
Yeah, Q turned 40 actually November 28th. And I was lucky to be at the Q. It was always a lifetime goal to work in radio, to work at the Q. And finally, it was 2008. J.C. Douglas gave me a chance, and I filled in on Evening Swing and did the Evening Swing shift for a few years from 2008 to 2016, and then got to work with the legends like Anna Z and J.C. Douglas and B.J. Wilson, who I worked the Mooseheads games with as well, Bobby Mack, and Tom Bedell. I hope I'm not leaving anybody out, but these folks have been there for years, and Anna's coming up for 36 years in the new year. In one gig, I'm lucky I'm lucky to be in one gig for 10 years.
Yeah.
I think that's my record at the Q was 10 years between Cool and Q in 2006 to 2016.
And that's actually, it is a huge testament, because it does seem like in radio, there's a lot of change in radio.
A lot of turnover. Thankfully, I've been lucky to be at Hot Country 103.5 here now for 7 years, and I used to do the morning show, but I got moved to this network show, and I don't miss getting up at 3:30 in the morning anymore.
I can't imagine.
After a Mooseheads game, it was kind of tough. You'd be at the rink, and you're so wound up after a game, especially after a big game, and
you probably wouldn't get home until 10:30 or something.
Yeah, 10:30, 11 o'clock. We live in Hubli, and and then the alarm starts going off at 3:30, and you got to be up and going and wide awake and bushy-tailed at 6 o'clock. So, it's a little bit easier doing this midday run, and still, I still got to get up at 6 o'clock. So it's a tight turnaround after a game.
What does a day look like? How do you prepare for your day for these types of shows? Because you need to find content in between to fill that stuff. What does it look like? Are you up there Googling things and building anything? Or?
You're always on your phone, and you're always on Twitter, X, whatever you want to call it these days. We do have inside prep services that we do get, but I'm always looking for local angles and local stories.
That's important.
We try to go the extra mile for the local story. So you're for example, talking with Cliff Blair this week with Hockey Fights Cancer for the Halifax Max. I'm going to be doing the puck drop for that on the weekend, December 2nd. There's always something that you have to focus on to bring to the table for local, and if I don't go in without 3 or 4 local bits a day, I feel like I'm not doing my job. So yes, I'll talk about the Mooseheads. Yes, I'll talk about the Thunderbirds. But my buddy Ed McHugh and his wife there, Shelley, just lit up Charlie the Tree on the 102 that you see.
Yeah. Charlie the Tree.
Charlie.
I don't know about Charlie. Who's Charlie the Tree?
Charlie the Tree. If you're going in on the 102 by Bedford, by Hammonds Plains Road, there's a tree up on the hill, and that's Ed and his wife Shelley. Who,
if you're going outbound, it's on the right hand side of the cliff.
On the cliff. Yeah. I'm ambidextrous, but it's pretty cool to see. So I did a little blog about that today and localized it. And another blog that I did this week was the passing of our good buddy Alex J. Walling, legend in sports. And AJ, I'd see him around at the Mooseheads games and also at the press conferences. last time I saw him was at the Irving and Tantallon, and my best AJ impression, Mr. Mooseheads, how's the team looking this year? And AJ, God bless him, rest in peace. He was such a huge part of the sports scene around here, and he was the second person to talk to Paul Henderson after Team Canada scored the winning goal at the 72 Summit Series. It was Brian Williams, and then it was our own Alex J. Walling, who was working at CHNS at the time back in the day.
Wow. Historic. Yeah, that's
Yeah, he's got stories to tell.
I would bet.
Yeah, for sure.
Bet. Yeah, so I mean, I guess let's talk about this.
Let's dive into this book.
I want to dive into this book because
I'll read the title: "The Ultimate Hockey Joke Book." Right, and in the spirit of a comedian I love, Norm Macdonald. I think I said that already. So, but he used to send his jokes around the table and get other people to read them. So I'll read the first one, and then you got to randomly read one.
Right,
then we'll
cool.
pass it over to Ian. We'll get three jokes in.
All right.
before we start reading jokes, so you kind of mentioned a little bit how you get this started. So it was just basically you were telling kind of some quote unquote dad jokes. Online, and
exactly.
Someone just approached you and just said like, "Hey, you want to write all this down?"
Yeah, well, Vernon Neukel, who was a part of the publisher outfit at McIntyre Purcell Publishing, he was a listener to High Country 103.5 on the morning show, and he listened to Dana and I and Kelly and Denise Sibley as well. And so he would hear these jokes, and one day he sent me an email, and Vernon is a local author as well, who's got 34 books out on various topics, including ghosts and forerunners.
That's why I know that name.
Yeah, he's famous around here. He's the dean of writing.
I think he was actually just at Chapters just on the weekend.
He was, yeah. That's
I
Vernon.
knew it. I have a few of his books because I'm obsessed with like the supernatural and stuff like that. So I was sitting there going like, I know that name.
Yeah,
perfect.
So Vernon is the man, and he's the guy that is responsible for this whole thing happening.
Oh, cool.
And he sent me an email. He said, "Ian, have you ever thought of writing a joke book?" And I was like, "Not really, but let's talk about it."
Yeah.
So I sent down some generic bad dad jokes, and he said, "That's great, but how about you with your Mooseheads profile and a part of the hockey community in Halifax and the area? Why don't you do some hockey jokes?" So Roxanne, Drake, and I and Trent, we all kind of just started bouncing jokes off of each other, and we sat down at the table, and then the boys and Roxanne would say, "That's a good one, Dad. That's a bad one, Dad. And don't put that one in the book." So that's how we came down to having the 152 pages and 223 jokes in the book.
Yeah,
pretty good.
Good job.
Yeah, and originally had 365 submitted, so I've got some material, and we may be doing a volume 2 down the road.
Oh, you certainly should.
Yeah.
We were going to give one of these away on the podcast, but I think I might not. I want to hold on to it, read them through first, and we can give the book away.
Yeah, maybe that.
Secondhand. I can fix a brother up with a free book. I'll give you another one.
There you go. There you go.
Yeah, it's for those anywhere from 9 to 99 or 1 to 99. Some little Wayne Gretzky number there. So it's all family friendly. It's great for the kids on their hockey road trips. I remember, when my kids were going to hockey tournaments in New Brunswick or Cape Breton, they were a little bored in the back seat. So this will keep them entertained for a little while, and maybe they can take it to school. And a friend of mine actually, she's a phys ed teacher down in the Valley, Karen Stubbert, and she does the morning announcements. So what she's been doing is she'll do the morning announcements, and then she'll say, "And now here's a joke from my friend Ian's hockey joke book, Laugh Your Face Off." And she'll read a joke over the PA at the school announcements in the morning.
Should do an adult version of this, too. You can make some pretty bad jokes. I thought of doing one. Want me to try it right now?
Yeah.
Okay. Why was the guy's wife... I'm trying to do this like Norm now.
Yeah,
right?
okay, yeah.
Why was the guy's wife so mad that he was watching hockey?
Don't know why.
She was on her period.
Oh, there you go.
There we go. See?
Adult
joke.
But
there we go.
Sure.
Now we can read some of the book.
I found the joke that I want to read.
Go for it.
Mostly just because everyone who knows me, like deeply knows me, knows that this team triggers me. So, what NHL team did the pilot cheer for?
Gee, I don't know, Matt. Who?
The Philadelphia Flyers.
Oh. All right, good one for you.
So that triggers me because I hate Philadelphia Flyers.
What penalty did the dog get?
What penalty did the dog get? Ooh, I don't know what.
2 minutes for roughing.
Oh, I should have got that. Yes. All right, here we'll hand it over to Ian. Ian can pick a joke.
Or you might know your favorite joke.
You
from
might
the
even
book,
know it
or
off
you
by
might
heart.
Yeah, I've known it off by
Rattle
heart.
one out.
Yeah.
All
right.
Why did the hockey player take Buckley's?
Ooh. because he was coughing up the puck.
Hey!
Oh,
Yay!
Oh,
10
nice.
points
Good
to
job.
Matt.
There you
Yeah.
go. I wanted to get that. I was like, let's do it. That's a good joke. That I can see that why it's your favorite. Yeah.
Yeah, I like that one. I was just looking again. Inspiration just comes out of nowhere, right? And I was in the wash or bathroom at home one time, and the Buckleys was there on the counter. I can make a joke out of that. And my wife's favorite one is because both of her sons are officials, and she was like, she actually kind of made this one. She did make this one up. Roxanne made this one up. It was what's the linesman's favorite part of the birthday cake? The icing.
The icing.
See, there you go. See,
Yeah. There you go.
Yeah, and how do you know you got a birthday gift from a referee? Because it came in a penalty box.
because it blows.
Because it.
Back in the adult joke book.
That's awesome. So yeah, honestly, like this is good. This is right up. Like I have this really weird wide range of humor where
Yeah.
it goes from like dad jokes to most horrible dark humor that you can possibly have.
For sure.
Yeah, it goes
I
back and
love
forth.
good, clean comedy. In all honesty, I
It's-
really
it's
do
tough.
because
It's
it's
tough.
it's a lot harder to write.
Oh, thanks, Mike.
Right?
Yeah,
it's easier
Yeah.
to. Sometimes it's easier to be crude and lewd and
Exactly.
these
You
jokes
get a
take little bit
reaction
more
when people
effort.
make people laugh when it's rude and crude. Exactly.
Yeah.
But to do something clever and all like, yeah, it fits right in, especially with some puns. My uncle's very punny.
Yeah.
And he's quick. Right. I think one of the things I'll give him a bit of a shout out because one of the best jokes that kind of he heard. He was at a restaurant for breakfast, and the waitress came over and he said, "Excuse me," he's like, "The eggs Benedict." He's like, are the plates that they come on?" He goes, "Are they made of chrome?" And she was like, "Oh, I don't know. I'll have to go check." And he was like, "Oh, that'd be great because there's no plates like chrome for the holidays." So there's a little Christmas joke fitting in with the punning.
You gotta like that, right?
Yeah,
You gotta love that.
He's pretty quick, so I was like,
Yeah.
so I figured that was very suitable considering Christmas time and all that stuff. So
beauty, yeah.
honestly, Ian, I think we've covered quite a bit here. But if there's anything else that you got going on that you want to tell us about, please share away. Like I know the Mooseheads are on a wicked run right now.
Yeah, we're doing good.
Yeah.
We're hoping to get closer next season. This coming season. With last year we went to the final, and
Yeah.
hopefully this year we can put the icing on the cake here and win it all.
Yeah.
And then I'll have to update my tattoo to 2024 champions. But yeah, last year was a heck of a run, and this year we're amping up for another big run.
I can't
so
see why they can't repeat it. They're doing super well,
Yeah.
and I mean, I know they're currently as we talk, they're in the number 2 seed. They just had a battle, went into overtime.
Yeah.
With the number 1 seed, so
Yeah.
you don't get any more exciting than that.
That was pretty big.
And so good luck to the Mooseheads. Good luck to you.
Oh, thanks, man.
Thank you so much for coming on
Let
here.
us joke.
Oh,
what,
okay.
What hockey legend loved doing donuts on the ice?
Tim Hortons.
Yeah, you got her.
Yeah, the book's
All right.
available
All right.
anywhere online and
Yes.
in stores. So anywhere you can get it at Amazon.ca online.
Sure.
And any local bookstore here in Nova Scotia.
We will definitely plug it on their socials.
And put a link in our episode description. So if you go there, you can get a link to Ian's book. It looks
Yeah.
fantastic. It's a
Thank
lot
you.
of fun
It's
to
well
read.
Thank you.
Audrey, thank you so much.
Awesome.
Ian.
Cheers.
Cheers,
again.
guys.
Thank you.
Thanks a
All
million.
right.
Seller.
Have a great one.